Welcome to our presentation on the Language Groups program at the University of Leeds. I'm Carolin, I'm here with Jayne, and we will talk you through what we do, what's working well, and where the future goes. The Language Groups program is a program that offers weekly conversation practice to students in different languages. This is led by student volunteers who are speakers of those languages, and the aim is to provide relaxed, friendly sessions to aid cross-cultural experience and also offering opportunities for students to find out about other languages and cultures and use this as an experience to volunteer. The background to this is that the whole program started as a pilot project in 2016. It was supported by various strategies in the university and funded specifically. Since then, it has been moved into the language zone as business as usual and is supported through everyday strategies that go around the experience of international students and bringing international experiences to students on campus. The people involved in this are the language group leaders, so they're volunteers, there's language group participants, and staff-wise, we have people like Jayne who are involved with training, and the language zone advisors who are involved with overseeing the program day to day. That's something my colleague Kate does, and also Sabina, who is involved in training and student support as well. The aims of the program are around authentic language practice, intercultural exchange, and to create volunteering and work-related opportunities for students to show them what teaching could be like. It also delivers an inclusive and intercultural student experience, focusing on the whole cohort and kind of helping with community building and a sense of belonging. Here's a little diagram of how it works. So we recruit group leaders twice a year, then they attend some training, a group schedule gets created, and we start advertising for participants. This is quite a quick turnaround, but it works well after all these years. We've got it kind of down. The groups meet for 5 weeks for a session each week for an hour. At the end, we get everybody together, get some feedback, and kind of link students together, creating a little community that way. Here's some numbers from the last few years. You can see a spike in COVID, purely because we didn't have to book rooms, and people obviously had a lot more time as well. Since then, we've gone completely offline again for now, and it's fairly steady throughout, as you can see.
Okay, so thanks, Carolin. So I'd like to just talk a little bit about how we prepare the group leaders for their 5 one-hour sessions. And our training lasts 3 hours, and it takes place a couple of weeks before they actually start running their groups. I run the workshop with my colleague Sabina Grahek, and typically we'll have 20, 30, maybe 40 group leaders of mixed nationalities, mixed motivations, and mixed experience of leading any kind of discussion group, but mostly zero. But that's absolutely fine, because by the end of the 3-hour training, we just hope that group leaders will go away with a better understanding of the role of a discussion group leader, facilitator, not a teacher, and just what a discussion group should feel like. So we try and make the training session as practical, interactive as possible to mirror the feel of what they'll be doing with their groups. So what do we do in the 3 hours? Well, we kick off with a language taster, and since Sabina is Slovenian, they get a little taste of a Slovene language taster, which is really useful for many different reasons, actually. It's a great icebreaker in itself. They learn a little short language in another language, dialogue in another language, and a reminder of how it feels to kind of step out of your comfort zone. But it's also a really useful way to demonstrate some classroom management techniques, ways to establish rapport, that kind of thing. Other elements of the session include ideas for icebreakers, discussion about topics that go down well, how to deal with mixed levels, tips for inclusive in communication. So this might be kind of verbal things about, slowing down and thinking about your own language, use of humour, loads of speaking activities, and then a little bit on planning. And then pre-COVID, we included a second teaching week, which included some micro teaching, but that's been put on hold actually since then. Culture's an interesting one, and it comes up under topics very often, and there can be a tendency to think of culture in a bit of a narrow, simplistic way. So we definitely encourage in our training sessions to make leaders aware of avoiding this and getting them thinking more about the complexities, kind of the fluidity of culture. And a really successful part of the training comes at the end when we invite back past language group leaders, and they just come and share their tips and advice and talk about the impact that the language groups has had on them. And I remember one particular leader saying, French leader, he said, remember, we are all equals in this group, which was nice. And then reflection, we encourage reflection actually after each time they've done their sessions, and just this really kind of simple grid here. So things to start, stop, and continue. But I think the thing we try and stress is that some sessions will go better than others, some might not go quite so well, but just don't take anything personally, just kind of try and adapt to the situation. So after each of the training sessions, Kate collects and collates lots and lots of feedback. And yeah, the comments are usually really positive, actually. And these, in fact, are the comments from February's training session. So you can see they're like meeting other group leaders, being put back in the shoes, doing lots of example activities, which they actually use with their group, and just really understanding, what the groups are meant to be like, and what the emphasis is really. And then they appreciate also the resources that we share on our team. And of course, we keep in touch after the training through the team, and we post lots of things. And anyway, we're always there to kind of answer any questions that they have. But I mean, of course, running the program doesn't come without its challenges, because a lot of people involved, very large institution. Participant attendance can be a problem, particularly as the semester progresses. They're all voluntary, it's all extracurricular, so numbers can fluctuate. But we advise leaders to keep a register, notify us if somebody's not coming, and follow up with emails. Language levels, students do actually self-assess, but not always very accurately. But that's just not a problem. So we encourage leaders to let us know, and then we just move people. Recruitment, there's a really short window of opportunity at the start of term. And what works is to maintain very close links with the actual language teachers, who then in turn invite their students along to our programme.
Here's a list of some of the future developments we're looking at. So at the moment, we're exploring adding online groups again. We've got some students interested in our partner university in China. So we're actually running a program currently that's not part of this program, but just involves some volunteer sessions from students who are interested. But we're hoping to formalize that a bit more. We're looking at how we can better recognize participation beyond a standard certificate that we create. We're looking at what languages could be offered, but there's always leaders getting in touch potentially to run sessions in languages we don't have enough learners for, so there might be some scope there. And we're also looking at possibly running some language groups in residences. Some people from the Residence Live team have expressed an interest, so we are hoping that maybe we can do something with that. and also including staff. At the moment, staff members can join the groups. They could also lead groups, but we haven't really had much uptake. So we'll see where that goes. There's some comments here on impact and benefit for participants leaders. There's a link to a video that we will attach to this, so you can watch that, and we'd love to hear your feedback on that.
So yeah, finally, just well, I'd like to say really, out of all of the work I do at the university, I'm just being involved with the language groups is perhaps one of the most satisfying things, because it really feels like we've created something amazing that benefits so many in so many different ways. And it's not just a personal challenge for the group leaders. It has much more of a kind of ripple effect, positive impact, connecting groups, connecting cultures, and definitely connecting with the university's strategies about internationalisation. And so it's just such a positive thing. So we believe that the language groups provides a very inclusive, safe space where language learning can flourish, which after all is its main aim, where difference is very much seen as an asset, not a deficit, and definitely where everybody involved can feel, and I think we can say does feel, a greater sense of belonging to the University of Leeds community. So all in all, a win-win situation. And we'd be really happy to hear from anyone with any questions who would like thinking of starting a similar programme, or hear from anyone who actually already runs a similar one. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's some related literature if you're interested. But yeah, like Jayne says, just get in touch with us, and yeah, let's have a chat. Thank you.